Hi, how you doing? And welcome back to another video on the channel. What I've got for you today is my preview video going into Game Week 31. I'm going to take a review look at how my team did in Game Week 30. Then we're going to talk team selection, captaincy options and transfer advice moving forward. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, like the video, comment your thoughts. Honestly, it really does make a load of difference for a small channel trying to grow. And go check out my latest wildcard video as well. Link will be in the description and at the end of the video, because I am actually wildcarding this game week. So whilst I touch on that team a little bit in this video, I go into a lot more detail in my wildcard video as well. So if you want some general wildcard transfer advice, hopefully that'll help you out as well. Let's take a look at how my team did in Game Week 30. And it wasn't the best, really. I think 40 points was just below average. Really low scoring game week in general. Had a red arrow of about 100k. But what it does tell me is that the point spread between FPL managers is really small still. So I think if you're not where you want to be and you're a bit disappointed with your rank, just keep going, because honestly, the scores I don't think have ever been this close, and there's so much to play for. There's like 7-8 game weeks still to go, and if you've got a load of chips left like I do, the potential for massive points hauls is still there. At least you can keep the dream alive, right? And even if you've got a couple of chips left, I think there's still some massive gains to be made. So in terms of where points came from for me, 2 clean sheets, Semedo and Gvardiol. Nwaneri as well with an assist, and Isak as well with a goal. I was considering bench boosting originally in Game Week 30. I remember in an early video I was sort of saying I'm 99% sure I'm going to bench boost, but injuries just put that to one side and I'll just use it when it best fits. And it's a good job as well, because all my bench came in for 13 points because Kluivert, Wood and Foden just didn't play. And thank goodness I got those 13 points rather than if they'd have played 1 or 2 points, because 27, 28 points would not have been ideal at all. So yeah, it's not my best rank ever, but I think there's so much to play for. It's definitely still an exciting time in FPL. So in terms of captaincy for this game week, I do think, again, it's interesting. You can absolutely go for Salah away at Fulham. I think that's not the worst fixture in the world. It's definitely not the easiest fixture in the world. It depends on where you want to go with your team. If you're kind of just fed up of, treading water and just staying as it is with everybody, then don't captain Salah, go for Isak away at Leicester. I think someone like Isak, he's either going to start or he's not going to come on, because if he's fit enough, he'll start. If he's on the bench and Newcastle are winning 2-3-0 and he's got a bit of a knock, bit of a hamstring strain or whatever, then I don't really see a reason why they'd bring him on if the game is set and they need him for other matches. So I do think he's a safe captaincy option. He's probably someone that I'm going to captain this game week just for the high upside, but I think I will probably also vice captain Salah. You could captain Mamouche away at Man United. I don't know, Manchester derbies, it's a bit like Merseyside derby. These games are so up in the air. Form kind of goes out the window and anything can happen. So I could definitely see, a Man City player getting an attacking return, but I don't really see why you would captain them over someone like an Isak, maybe even a Salah. Other than that, there's not really too much. I think it's too early to captain someone like Saka, and you could also look at Spurs at home to Southampton. I think if you have a Spurs player, then maybe, but I don't think I'd transfer a Spurs player in just to capture them at home to Southampton. I think I'd probably just go with one of the players I've already got. So when I was thinking about making possible transfers before I decided to wildcard, my team was just littered with injuries. I had Isak, Gabriel, Chris Wood and Kluivert, and then I also had players with minutes risks like Nwaneri and Phil Foden. Now that Saka's come back, Nwaneri's minutes are going to be reduced. And then Phil Foden's been a bit disappointing in terms of the chances he's been getting to get on the pitch. Now that Gabriel was also injured and out for the season, and Chris Wood, we don't know a table on his return, and the same with Kluivert, I thought rather than, just using the 2 free transfers to try and just plug the gaps, since we found out that the double and blank game week fixtures are now set in stone, hit that wildcard button straight away, and I did come up with this. Now, this, like I say, is in more detail in my wildcard video, so I'm not going to go through it all now because some of you might have already seen that. So all my reasons are in there, but I am really happy with it moving forward. It covers me quite well for the double because I've got 2 Crystal Palace players, 2 Newcastle players, I've got 2 Arsenal players, 2 Man City players, and you know, it's not like I need 3 of each, because I've decided to use my assistant manager chip in the next few game weeks. So if I had 3 Newcastle, 3 Crystal Palace, say, I couldn't have used their manager as well. So chip strategy is going to come up in a little second, but I am happy with it. I think it also gives me that flexibility for the blank game week. So if I use my assistant manager, I then can't use my free hit in game week 34, but all I need to do is take out Munoz and Mateta and replace them, and I'll have 11 players for game week 34 with some really good fixtures as well. So my chip strategy as it stands is obviously to wildcard this game week, and then I'm going to use my assistant manager in the next 3 game weeks. Now, it reduces my flexibility for a free hit because I couldn't use that in either game week 33 to get loads of double game week players in, or game week 34 to cover the spaces. But like I said, my personal wildcard team I think really does cover that quite well, and I can just manage that with a couple of free transfers that I already have, and then I'm also going to have a couple more by the time it gets to game week 34 as well, for like 4 or 5. So the assistant manager that I'm thinking of getting is Eddie Howe for game week 32, and then I'm probably going to swap it to Mikel Arteta or Pep Guardiola for game week 33, and then I'll just see where I'm at for game week 34. I'll probably either go for a really easy home game, like, you know, a Wolves at home to Leicester, or I'll go for a high upside game where there's a chance of table bonus. With the assistant manager, I always was thinking, I'm just going to use it on table bonus and take the risks, you know, and go for, say, Glasner from Crystal Palace, and then I don't need to swap between managers. He's got back-to-back doubles, but the doubles are so difficult. I'm like, if he loses all those games, I don't get any points at all. Like, it's great to get him in if Crystal Palace win those games. So the fact that it's a bit up in the air is why I'm leaning to a bit more of a Howe Arteta / Guardiola combination, just to get those points on the board, because I'm not in a position where I can take, you know, those massive risks. I just want to get those extra points that maybe I might not get otherwise. So with that in mind, I'm either going to free hit in game week 36 or 37 or 38. Now, there's still a chance of blanks and doubles in game week 36 and 37. I think it depends on who plays in the FA Cup final and then whether those games get rearranged. So I could free hit in game week 36 depending on how many players I've got and then maximise those doubles. Or likewise, I could free hit in game week 37 depending on how many players that I own that might miss out. And if I'm okay with not free hitting then I might just save it for game week 38, where there is just a load of massive scores in game week 38. There's always a team that wins 6-0. I'll try and predict that. And then there's also games that finish 3-3 because teams just go for it and, you know, there's nothing left to lose and tactics kind of go out the window. So there is that flexibility there. And then I still also need to use my bench boost. So that will just be put in a week in the rest of the season after my assistant manager's been used up, where I'm just happy with my bench. It doesn't need to be a double game week. It just needs to be a game where all my bench players are A, playing, and B, I'd be happy to start them. So wherever that falls in those 4 weeks, I will just press bench boost. I think people try and save it for the double, but unless all your bench players are also doubling, or at least some of them, it doesn't really matter. And, like, you know, whether they're playing or not, because I think if you are bench boosting and you just look at your bench and you say, actually, they've got great fixtures, I won't mind starting them, just press click. Because if they're not doubling, then it doesn't really matter whether it's a single game week or a double game week in that respect. So that's my thoughts regarding my team strategy moving forward, as well as my wildcard team. Like I say, go check out the latest wildcard video. It was only released last night, so, you know, go comment your thoughts on there about what you think about my team. Likewise, if you think you've got any suggestions for my team as well, I do also have to keep 1.5 million in the bank to allow me that flexibility for the assistant manager chip. But if you've got any transfer thoughts or questions of your own, just pop them in the comments and I'll get back to you. It's always great to chat FPL. So yeah, thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in the next one.